The rabbit head's going bald. I have to find some super glue or something, because I'm not giving it up. It's too warm. Well, it's now 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. It is the first day of January. Greg and I are headed back into the familiar spot that we've been hunting. We haven't been in here, for 3 or 4 days now. The last time we came in, we just saw a few does. We know it's a good spot because the first time we were in here, you saw how many bucks we had out in front of us. So we're headed back in tonight, and we haven't seen any fresh boot tracks in here. It snowed just a little bit since our last hunt, and I figured there'd be a bunch of fresh boot tracks in here over New Year's Eve weekend, but it doesn't look like anybody's been in here. So we're going to slide down there and see what we can do with them tonight. There's tons of fresh deer tracks down there, where most of the deer have been congregating each night when they feed. Last time Greg and I sat down there, only a doe and a fawn came out in that spot, but there's all kinds of tracks in there where those deer have been out there eating that browse these last few nights. They're definitely still here. It's just a matter of whether or not they come out before it gets too dark to shoot. As we were sneaking down the ridge, we started spotting a lot more fresh tracks, just made in the last few days. Like we mentioned before, we're not real sure what the plant is that they're feeding on, but they've been eating it all year in these river bottoms, and they're digging it up out of the snow out there. It looks like hogs have been rooting around out there for the last few days. There's so many tracks, but as you can see down there where we were at, there's a little brush pile, and it would have put us about 60, 70 yards from the center of the concentration of all those deer tracks. We would have preferred setting up down there, but I was going to have to shoot through some brush, and we were afraid, being stuck out there in that sun like that those deer could potentially pick us off. You know, the first night Zach and I sat here, we saw 20 plus deer out in this bottom, and if they're moving like that again tonight, there's a good chance that we get busted by does or young bucks out of that spot down there before the big boys showed up. So we backed off. Set up right here at the spot that we were at last time. It's a little bit more conservative, but by sitting back here, if any deer do come out before the bucks, we can let them filter by us, and the odds of them picking us off up here are a lot less than they are down below. I would think that the deer are moving tonight, because we're certainly going to be after we sit here for a couple hours. Oh, there's a deer right there, Greg. Looks like a doe or a fawn or something. See it? It's looking back too. More coming behind her. Several of them, yeah. There's another one here. 5, 6, 7. There's a buck. White buck. Might be a shooter. shooter for sure. Not now. Nope. Yep. 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 Is it missing? He's wagging his tail. Yeah. Still got him? I lost track of him. Well, the deer certainly wasn't acting like he was hit very hard. But, man, I took my time.
Oh yeah, I know you did.
And I really squeezed it off. Like I touched the trigger, and then I took my finger off, and then I touched it again. And I exhaled about half breath out and squeezed it off. Did you hear it hit him?
Yeah, you hear the smack. It was a dang whiteout. I'm not going to be able to tell anything from the footage.
Well, I got whited out pretty hard. Real nice looking buck. Came out just perfect. I mean, that's exactly how we drew it up right here in this spot. Well, I shot that buck about 15 minutes ago now, and both Greg and I have late season muzzleloader tags. So I think we're going to try to get switched up. Since that buck, we shot him, they ran off. I think we watched him bed down out there. We're not positive about the hit. The smoke made it real hard to tell what was going on, but both of us paid real close attention to what happened immediately after the shot. Greg thought that he heard the bullet hit hard. We both saw him kick. I think we got the deer. I just don't know. His reaction was kind of strange when he left. He almost acted like he didn't know what hit him. We're going to give him plenty of time before we go start tracking him. And just about 2 minutes ago, we had 3 more deer pop out here in the opening in front of us. I think there's a real good chance we're going to see more bucks yet tonight. I hope I didn't blow that chance. I don't know what you could have done differently. It's just about the end of legal here, so Greg and I are going to back out, look at the footage and get the sled, get some lights and stuff, and then come back. Anytime you don't see him go down, you got to take every precaution necessary. So we're going to go out here, give him a little while. We will definitely be back tonight because there's coyotes all over this river bottom and it is super cold, so if they find him, they'll make short work of him.
Greg, you got like serious icicles formed on your we're nuts.
I don't remember. Look at him
chasing them does out there. Looks like that could possibly be the same 8 that came out last time we were out there. Wide out. I'm hoping we can see him bed down here in the footage. That would be nice. Right about in there is where I... Oh, right there. He just went down.
Yeah.
He's down.
He might be right there. Might just be right there.
I think we got him. Did you see that? Boom.
Oh, yeah.
He fell over right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched those does walk right over to that spot, and they stood there and they stared at something, and then they turned around.
Turned around and went back.
We're just looking at the footage here. We pulled it up on the editor when we got back, and I was watching that deer move through that brush out in the river bottom, and I lost track of him. Well, the reason why I lost track of him is because he fell over, or he laid down right there at that last spot where Greg was filming him. So I think we got a dead deer. We're gonna eat supper quick with Mindy, and then the 3 of us are gonna throw the sled on the Smurf and head out there.
So we're almost there.
Nice.
I want to stop real quick and show you all what these deer been doing. You see right here, all this stuff is browsed down. It is this plant, whatever it is. And you can see it's actually still kind of green. That's what all those deer are feeding on. And we're gonna try to figure out exactly what kind of plant it is, but very interesting, just natural browse out here that the deer are targeting, especially right now. And it's like that all the way across this little opening. It's about a ½ acre in size, and there's just tracks all over it. I think this is the line that he was on, but there's just no blood at all. Luckily we filmed him lay down out there, so we got that spot landmarked, and we're getting pretty close to it out here. Laying right here, Greg. He's right here.
Serious?
Oh my goodness.
I'm not even kidding.
No kidding.
Look at this thing. How about that? We got him.
Unbelievable.
That is awesome.
He didn't go anywhere from the edge.
He was looking around in his bed right here.
Look at that. How about that? Man. We must have hit him better than we thought initially, because he did not make it anywhere. I mean, he might have went 100 yards from the shot. It's a big, pretty 8-pointer.
He's big-bodied.
Yeah, he
Looks
is.
big-bodied from here, at least.
He is big-bodied. He's got a real nice rack on him. I don't want to pull on it too hard. It might come off. That is cool. He's got all scarred up on his face. That is cool. That is real cool. Well, I must have just happened to put my binos down for just a second, because he was moving through here, and I was watching him through my binoculars, and he was disappearing through this stuff because it's pretty tall. I mean, it's chest high out here in spots.
Well, interestingly, he came in, he was facing south when we lost sight of him.
And now
And when
he's
you
facing
found him,
north.
he's facing back north.
And he comes in, beds down, turns around, and faces
Watches
his back trail.
Yep.
It's just instinctive that they do that
Yeah.
every time. He's a sweet buck.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Real cool. Big old bases.
Yep.
A little bit of character there on his brow tine. Long beams.
My heart was pounding because I was nervous, you know. If I wouldn't have took my time to control my breathing a little bit, I'm afraid I would have missed him, because I was really nervous when he came out there.
No reason to rush in that kind of situation where the deer are out there feeding comfortably and we're far enough away we weren't in danger of getting busted. So.
Yeah. That's just cool to hunt them on a natural food source like that out here on public.
Absolutely.
It's an overlooked spot. Yeah, that was fun, man.
Heck yeah.
That was real cool.
Awesome buck.
He's heavy. Man, we just got him drug out of the mess that he bedded in. Pulled him out with the sled. Right here where we're sitting is actually this little natural browse kind of food source that they've been using.
Last year, this spot was underwater. I was kayaking in to about right here, and then would get out, and I ran a trail camera that we never actually came in and hunted this spot, but we ran a trail camera a couple hundred yards away from here and got a lot of activity throughout the year, and especially in the late season.
Yep, that's interesting from one year to the next how things change, and that's something we talk about all the time on public land. You know, hunting pressure will change from year to year on a specific area. In this situation, you know, the water levels changed and basically reshaped the entire makeup of the landscape down here in this bottom. And it created, when that lake receded, when the water receded, it created tons of that natural food down here on these mud flats and stuff. As we moved through the summer, we started seeing bucks out here in these river bottoms. Zach and the boys filmed several of them in velvet in the summer in similar situations, and then that just carried through out the entire fall.
This river bottom here has been really good to us.
It's just a tremendous spot.
I'm curious to see if this vegetation will keep coming back and drawing the deer like that.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be curious to see if next year, if the water stays down, if it comes back, or if it gets like out-competed by other weeds or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those unique cycles where, like say, the scouting tipped us off to a pattern, and we were able to take advantage of it, and it's really paid off this late season. Brody shot his buck just a couple hundred yards from here, and
and now we got another one down.
Another one.
This is the coldest I've ever hunted. I mean, by far. Yeah. You got icicles hanging down
these are the best
everywhere.
Icicles I think I've ever had.
My face is just frozen stiff almost, and so is his.
Extreme conditions.
Extreme conditions get these things up and moving during this time of year, and everybody knows like I'm going to shoot just about anything. So as soon as Greg said, "Oh, there's a shooter buck coming," I just went ahead and cocked the hammer. I didn't even look for him. I just waited for him to walk out there in front, and then got it settled on him. And Jake's muzzleloader, that's the third buck it's killed just during these gun seasons.
Yeah,
you know,
since December.
Good start to 2018, I'd say.
I'd say. A cold start to 2018.
A cold start. It's negative 10 or 11 degrees right now, and Mindy's just walking around behind the camera trying to keep warm. So we're going to get this buck gutted and drag him out of here before we freeze to death. But what a cool night. Coldest hunt I ever been on. That's the first deer I ever shot with a scoped gun of any sort. Thanks to Greg for coming out and dealing with the cold with me. And everybody else, too, for all the scouting. I mean, like we've preached over and over, it's team effort.
Absolutely.
Everybody that kills bucks in our group is all deserving, and
they all have a hand in it somehow.
They do, and that's the beauty of it.
Unfortunately, they're not going to have a hand in helping us drag
this
thing out.
Not just me, you, and Mindy, but yeah, that's the cool thing about it. Just get your buddies and go to the woods and go hunting, and you'll have a blast doing it. I promise you that.
I'm glad you guys are dragging. I think I made it 4 feet.
All right, I'll see you at the car.
Okay.